12:30. We said we'd start at 12:30, so we'll go ahead and begin. Yes, it's important to be together, and the reason we're here are because you see the pictures of the people who've been taken in front. You see the names of people who've been taken. There's actually 25, at least 20, we think as many as 25, who were taken in a workplace raid just down the street from here. And we think it's wrong, and we've been waiting for days for some sort of a public outcry media event, some sort of an expression that this is not acceptable in our area. And so we're here today to draw attention to this. My name is Seth Copperdale. I'm one of the pastors at this church. I wish this event was being held in front of a state system ready to push back instead of in front of a church. I'm proud of churches and synagogues and mosques and nonprofits and everybody that act as sanctuary all the time, but I wish it was a shared experience more and more, but it's not currently. We're going to have to be sanctuary for each other. So as a way to start today, I wanted to just have you sing a song with me. It goes like this. God prepare us. Can you say it with me? God prepare us to be a sanctuary. Strong and mighty, tried and true, with thanksgiving, we'll be a living sanctuary for you. And the you is all of us. It's for God and it's for all of us. Let's sing it together without the echo. God prepare us to be a sanctuary, strong and mighty, tried and true, with thanksgiving, we'll be a living sanctuary for you. Not bad. You all can be the choir here anytime you want. So my name is Seth Copperdale, and I am one of the pastors here in this place. My wife Stephanie is a co-senior pastor, and Pastor Amos is the other third pastor in our trifecta of pastors at this church. We're proud to have been standing with immigrants for decades in this place, and in particular standing with others in solidarity with the families taken in the workplace raid. Estamos aquí en solidaridad con nuestros vecinos que han sido aterrorizados por la redada en su lugar de trabajo, Alba Wine and Spirits, ubicada en 361 Mill Road, Edison, en 8 de julio. We're here because our neighbors were terrorized by a workplace raid at Alba Wine and Spirits on July 8th in Edison, 361 Mill Road. Solidarity means finding forms of accompaniment and support that are requested by those who are being most impacted. Solidarity means listening to families and letting them guide the moment. This listening has been happening by various organizations who will speak today, and this press event is in response to families stating the desire that they know that silence about what happened will not win the day. A great violence, a great injustice has occurred, and they wish to not be silent. Solidaridad significa encontrar las formas de acompañamiento y apoyo que solicitan las familias. Solidaridad significa escuchar a las familias y dejar que guíen este momento. Este escucha ha estado ocurriendo por parte de diversas organizaciones que hablarán hoy, y este evento de media responde al deseo de las familias de saber que el silencio sobre lo sucedido no sirve de nada. Ha ocurrido una gran violencia, una gran injusticia. Solidarity with families also means that those who are relatively more safe in this horribly violent moment must participate and in some cases take the lead in publicly denouncing and pushing back and demanding and disrupting, doing whatever it takes to actually show backbone against the violence of this moment. So we are here for collective power and to grow the community of power so that immigrants aren't left to face these horrors alone. La solidaridad con las familias también significa que quienes se encuentran relativamente más seguros en este momento de terrible violencia deben participar y en algunos casos liderar, denunciando públicamente, contratando, exigiendo, alterando, haciendo todo lo posible para mostrar coraje contra la violencia actual. Estamos aquí por el poder colectivo y para fortalecer la comunidad de poder para que los inmigrantes no se vean solos ante estos horrores. Solidarity also means demanding that our elected officials and demanding that employers, those who make an awful lot of money off workers, take actions now that can protect more neighbors from future events like what happened at Alba Wine and Spirits. La solidaridad también significa hacer demandas a los funcionarios electos, a los empleadores y a los vecinos que tomen acciones ahora que pueden proteger a más vecinos de eventos futuros como lo que sucedió en Alba. We are here because many of the families in our neighborhoods have had their families ripped apart. We have children who've been left without a mother, spouses without a partner, families without key breadwinners and fathers. We're here because people's beauty was disrupted by something very ugly. Estamos aquí porque nuestros vecinos vieron a sus familias destrozadas, a sus hijos sin padres, a sus cónyuges sin pareja y sus familias sin un sostén económico clave. Estamos aquí porque la belleza de las personas fue perturbada por algo muy feo y muy violento. And we're here because our government, our federal government, with personnel and vehicles meant for border patrol, and guns and dogs and armor. I have enough trouble with what they're doing at the real border. But they brought all that stuff up here to the border of Edison, New Jersey on July 8th. Yes. I saw it with my own eyes because I got a call and got there. They came to terrorize all workers in Alba Warehouse who showed up for work on Tuesday, July 8th, and by extension to terrify and terrorize all workers and employers who have any potential issues with their immigration status all around the state. Estamos aquí porque nuestro gobierno, con personal y vehículos destinados a la patrulla fronteriza, armas, perros y armaduras, llegó a Edison, Nueva Jersey, el 8 de julio. Lo vi con mis propios ojos. Vinieron a aterrorizar a todos los trabajadores del almacén Alba que se presentaran a trabajar el martes 8 de julio y por extensión aterrorizar a todos los trabajadores y empleadores que tengan algunos problemas potenciales con su estatus migratorio. Our government came on July 8th primarily as white, masked, body-armored, dog-sniffing terror creators. White masked terrorists in federal uniforms put 20 to 25 people in zip ties and led them away. And they put other people in armbands to identify them as the good ones, marking them as good and different from their own colleagues right in front of their faces. 30 cars and vans pulled up and stopped business for a day. 30 cars blocked off access for families and lawyers and a whole line of 18-wheelers going down the street that couldn't do their work. Nuestro gobierno llegó compuesto principalmente por terroristas blancos enmascarados, armados con calechos antibalas y rastreadores de perros. Terroristas blancos enmascarados y con uniformes federales atarán a más de 20 personas con bridas y se las llevarán. También les pusieron brazaletes a todos los demás empleados, marcándolos con buenos y diferentes de sus colegas. 30 autos y camionetas detuvieron y paralizaron el trabajo durante un día. 30 autos bloquearon el acceso a familias y abogados. And we're here today also in front of this church, and as I said, not in front of a capitol or a warehouse, because this event happened 8 days ago, and families haven't felt support from their government or from their employer. We've spoken to many employees who've not heard one word of concern voiced to them after this happened, despite a decade plus of work in that facility. We cannot wait for elected officials or wealthy warehouse owners to do the right thing. También estamos aquí hoy frente a esta iglesia y no frente al capítulo ni al almacén, porque este evento ocurrió hace 8 días y las familias no han sentido ningún apoyo de su gobierno ni de su empleador. No podemos esperar a que los funcionarios electos y los ricos dueños de almacenes hagan lo correcto por los trabajadores. As of right now, I would say we are not a sanctuary state. We have not demonstrated that that is really what we are in this particular moment. We actually had a fantastic moment 7 years ago with the passing of Governor Murphy's executive order, putting us in the right spot to protect. But the behaviors of the moment by the government, the federal government, and our inability to stop it or pause it in any way really questions whether that's what we are. Thank you all for being here. Gracias por estar aquí. And I will turn it over to Carlos to continue our program. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carlos. I'm with Dyer and also a volunteer organizer with Movimiento Cosecha. And we cannot stay silent in the face of evil. What we saw last week on Tuesday, July 8th, was pure evil. Separations of families, violation of rights, despicable. As we spoke with many families that were detained, family members of those that were detained, we were able to gather some information of what really went on inside the place while ICE and custom patrols came in and wreaked havoc on these community members. For people that didn't know, 3 months ago, before this violent raid at Alva last week, DHS officials had already inspected the facility. So DHS was already there 3 months ago. But the warehouse owners did nothing to stop what was coming. On the morning of July 8th, just after 9 a.m., ICE and CBP agents stormed the warehouse while some workers were simply trying to take a break. What started with 2 agents quickly escalated into a full-blown operation, with more officers floating in, including a canine unit, dogs, as if we are animals, turning the workplace into a war zone. As word of the raid spread, panic erupted. Workers, many of them long-time employees and parents, ran and hid, desperate to avoid being separated from their families. Agents demanded IDs, and when people refused or hesitated, they were physically searched. Those deemed to have legal status were marked like animals with a red wristband. It was dehumanizing display of power, targeting people who came to work not to be hunted. By the end of the day, 25 workers had been detained. Since then, many more have been fired. Alba Wine and Spirits has offered no support. Let me repeat that. No support.
Shame on them!
No answers. No accountability to these families shattered by this raid. Instead, they've chosen silence over solidarity, profit over people. This was not just a raid. It was an act of terror against our community. That's why we call abolish ICE, and let's make sure that all these warehouses owners are accountable to the employees they hire every day, who they profit and make millions off on their backs, and not even create a plan, not even something so simple to protect or create a layer of protection for these employees that go there every day, not knowing if they're gonna come back to their families at the end of the day. Thank you.
When I say abolish, you say ICE. Abolish. 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 Sin papeles. Sin miedo. Sin papeles. Sin miedo. No
is going to be our comrade Amanda for New Labor, who's going to come and speak to us about the rapid response that happened that morning. I want to give a round of applause.
I might be a little too short for these microphones. Okay.
You only need the top one.
Oh, the top one? I don't want to touch them because I don't want to break anything either. That one? Okay. Thank you so much. Next time we'll bring a stool for me. Thanks. All right. Hola a todos, me llamo Amanda Dominguez. Hi everybody, my name is Amanda Dominguez and I'm a community organizer with New Labor. Soy una organizadora comunitaria con la organización New Labor. New Labor is a worker center located here in New Jersey that helps to educate workers about their rights in the workplace and fights alongside workers for better working conditions. New Labor is part of this rapid response network. New Labor es una organización que educa a los trabajadores sobre sus derechos laborales y organizamos por mejores condiciones en el lugar de trabajo. Y estamos parte de este equipo de respuesta rápida. And we arrived on scene that day at Alba Wine and Spirits. And New Labor arrived there to Alba Wine and Spirits. I was present, right? Llegamos ahí ese día. And it was a absolutely horrible demonstration of what the federal government does to working class people. The exploitation of these workers, the treatment of these workers was absolutely disgusting. As my colleagues up here have said, they released dogs on working class people while they're in their workplace performing their work duties. Shame. 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 Right? Ellos dejaron que los perros entraron para molestar a los trabajadores mientras que están solamente intentando a trabajar y tener su día. Right? We were there, they would not let us pass. They stopped the industry that was going on. They had all the trucks lined up. It stopped our economy. It also stopped workers from going home to their families. También detuvieron que las personas no podían regresar a sus familias. Behind every single worker is a family. Atrás de cada trabajador hay una familia. Y estas familias están sufriendo. And these families are now suffering. Do not let the other people in the media confuse you. These are not violent people. These are not criminals. These are your neighbors. These are your friends. These are people in our workplaces. We called them essential workers just a few years ago. No deja que los diferentes reportes que confunda. Esas personas no son criminales, no son violentos, son parte de tu comunidad, son tus amigos, son trabajadores y hace pocos años decimos que ellos son esenciales. Y hoy en día mira cómo estamos tratándoles. And now look at how we are treating them. It was absolutely horrifying. This warehouse is considered a CBP bonded warehouse, a Customs and Border Patrol bonded warehouse, which means that Customs and Border Patrol was able to go to the warehouse and check on the welfare of the products since they do many international shippings. Normally, that is all they would check on, is the products to ensure that that is going up to standard. But this day, they brought their friends with them. They brought HSI. They brought ICE. And instead of just checking products, they terrorized people. They separated them. They separated people into groups, giving people red wristbands to say that you were safe, and then they zip-tied others and took them away in vans, like my colleagues have been saying. We had families showing up with papers, crying, trying to demonstrate people's legal status in this country. They would not let people pass by. They did not follow up with families to let them know what happened. Luckily, people from inside the warehouse did call our rapid response network. Gracias a Dios que hay gente dentro del almacén y otros trabajadores que marcaron nuestra línea de respuesta rápida y pudimos llegar, and now we are able to support those families in different ways. Look at the pictures that we have up here. These are real people. When we say these numbers that it was 21, 25, these are real people, right? Look at their faces. See their names. We have Simon, we have Guadalupe, we have Hector. We have all of these different families. I met their families. I met their sons. They have a court date coming up. What is going to happen to these essential workers? What is happening in our community? We have to stand in solidarity with these working class folks and not allow our federal government to continue terrorizing working class people or any people. What we're demanding is something really simple, as we just left the 4th of July, is freedom for all. Libertad para todos. What do we want? Freedom. ¿Qué queremos? Libertad para todos, for all. Not for some, but for all. If you are interested in finding your place and your voice in this movement and finding ways that you can help, you can be part of our Rapid Response Network. You can reach out to Pastor Seth. You can reach out to me and others on the team. We have our Rapid Response phone number on our Dyer flyers. You can find them on our website, but the number is also 888-347-3767. And another piece that I just want to mention, these workers who are at the Edison warehouse, many were agency workers, temp workers. And these agencies are located here, very close to Highland Park in New Brunswick. Muchos de los trabajadores que estuvieron en este almacén eran trabajadores temporales de las agencias que están aquí en New Brunswick, muy cerca de donde estamos in Highland Park. And these agencies have not said a word about what happened to their workforce. Yes. Esclavitud. Shame. Estas agencias no han dicho nada sobre sus trabajadores. It is important that we demand that the agencies speak up for their workers and have a plan to safeguard their workers. It is important that bosses also take a stance to protect their workers, and us as a community who understand that working class people are the essential workers need to stand in solidarity with them. So please speak to your local representatives, get involved in the Dyer Network, and stand in solidarity with us as we continue to make sure that our community members are safe. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
¡Sí se puede! ¿Se puede? ¿Se puede? ¡Sí se puede! ¡Chinga la migra! ¡Chinga la migra! ¡Fuera migra de New Jersey! Pero con ánimo, mi gente. ¡Fuera migra de New Jersey! ¡Ice out of New Jersey!
ICE out of New Jersey.
¡Ice out of New Jersey!
ICE out of New Jersey.
¡Ice out of New Jersey!
ICE out of New Jersey.
¡Sin papeles! ¡Sin miedo! ¡Sin papeles!
Sin miedo. I am not the next speaker, but I have one thing to say. There are 3 people with manila envelopes. Fida, hold yours high. And there's 2 other people over here with manila envelopes. If you want to make a cash donation, any money that goes in is going to legal supports, to phone cards so that people can communicate from inside Delaney Hall, to help with rent this month because of what's going on. All the families that are reaching out to us from this particular raid will get all the monies that come in to Dyer Legal or Dyer Support. There's information about how to make online donations, but I wanted to make sure that got said in case there's anybody who leaves early. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Pastor Seth. And we continue. Now we're going to call on Bella from Dyer. She's going to give us explain a little bit of what's going on with the urgent needs of the families that have been detained and their family members.
Thank you. My name is Bella. I've been volunteering with Dyer since I was 17 years old. I was born in New Jersey, raised in New Jersey, and I'm still here. I've had the honor and the heartbreaking experience of meeting with these families as well. And I can tell you there are lots of ways that you, as fellow New Jerseyans and community members, can help them. So if that's something that you're interested in, please listen. They have a lot of needs that you are capable of bonding together and helping. Right now, the biggest need we have is for access to immigration attorneys. Every immigration attorney you'll meet will be slammed with work. And as things are changing, it gets harder and harder. But these families have a right to representation. They have a right to defend themselves against the unjust conditions in these detention centers and the heartbreaking experience of family separation. If you know any immigration attorneys, if you are an immigration attorney, please connect with us. We need your service. We need emergency childcare and housing. These are families who have been ripped apart. In many cases, they've lost a parent, a grandparent, and there are young children. And in many cases as well, that was the primary breadwinner who went to work that day and never came home. So if you are able to help with housing, as families may struggle to pay rent, if you're able to volunteer with childcare, please come forward, find one of the people with the manila envelopes, or speak to Seth or Dyer Legal. We need mental health support for these families. I spoke to one woman whose brother was taken. He was the only active parent in the life of his 12-year-old daughter. Her mother was never in her life, and now her father is gone. He's detained, and they don't know when he's going to come out. The child is traumatized. This is a crisis of trauma that will take years, if not generations, to heal. And so if you're willing to be support for the mental health of these families, please come forward. We need interpretation and translation services. The families who were arrested that day were Spanish speaking, but we also have crises for people with lots of different linguistic backgrounds. If you're able to come forward and serve these families with interpretation or translation, please do. And we need emergency financial assistance. Like I said, these are families who were already living paycheck to paycheck, who are already struggling to pay rent in New Jersey. And now one working member of the family, often cases the breadwinner, was taken away. They're looking at bills for lawyers that are thousands and thousands of dollars, $3,000 just to begin, $6,000, $7,000. How are they supposed to pay that? With our help, we hope that we can support them. So if you're able and willing to make a contribution, please find someone with the manila folder. All of the money will go to supporting these families. We need workplace support to report abuse and recover lost wages. As my colleagues have said, we are seeing a despicable lack of support on behalf of the employer. They have denied, even for employees who have been working there for as long as 12 years, they have not agreed or not responded to requests to provide letters of support, which are essential to get these people out on bond and out of these egregious conditions in the detention center. So if you're able to help advocate in the workplace for these workers' rights, please come forward. So this crisis does not end after the headlines fade. Over the long term, our community members need ongoing legal representation. They need help recovering documents and managing mixed status family complexities. They need trauma-informed counseling for both children and adults, and they need support for community organizing and advocacy to stop future raids and fight for lasting protections. So we call on our elected officials to make a comment to step up and protect our communities. We call on our community members, our faith groups, our neighbors to come together and respond to this urgent crisis.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, what do we want? And y'all say, ICE out of New Jersey, okay? What do we want? ICE out of New Jersey. What do we want? ICE out of New Jersey. What do we want? ICE out of New Jersey. When do we want it? Now. When do we want it? Now. When? Now. When? Now. Good. Yeah, if you want to volunteer for any of the different programs and services that Bella just mentioned, Sandra, can you raise your hand? She has the clipboard. You just write down your number, your phone number, your name, and we'll get back to you, okay? We need a lot of volunteers. Okay, so going ahead with the program, we're going to call on our comrade from Resistencia en Acción. Where's the Resistencia en Acción?
¡Eso!
Juliana López, un fuerte aplauso.
¡Vamos, Juliana!
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Come on, we have to be more energetic. I see the poster to my left, which is your right. We will not be silent. And we have to remember that. When we stand together, we will not be silent. We will not be silent. We will not be silent. We have to let them know that we're standing together here today, and they cannot ignore all of us together. When we come together, our voices are much more powerful, and they cannot ignore us. Because when we speak up, we want to be heard. And without us, who gets them to their elected positions? I want to take some time to first acknowledge the complete injustice that happened at Edison. We were one of the teams called to respond to the rapid response call, and it is a completely horrible experience, and that is not where the terror began. The terror began a long time ago with the fear-mongering, and it doesn't stop after the detention. After the detention, it continues within the GEO prisons, where they are sometimes denied food, daylight, as punishment. As punishment for what? No answer, because they haven't done anything wrong. And they shouldn't be punished by being taken away the necessities that they need, sunlight and food. So I do want to be mindful and just remind us that after detention, this is not where the terror ends. The terror continues. Bonds are now being denied to innocent families, and they can't do anything to leave anymore. At Resistencia, we have many groups where we try to uplift and our families, such as our Defensa del Barrio, where we work together with our families who have someone detained at Elizabeth or Delaney Hall, so that we can help them get the resources to talk to their families by providing commissary funds, providing accompaniment if they have an upcoming hearing date. And we need to come together as a group where we uphold one another, each of our stories, and support us along the way throughout the entire process. So that's just one of the first steps that we can continue, because all of the pictures that we see here today, when they're placed on the media, they seem so distant to us because they're on the media, on national TV, or at a local level, but these are our community members. We know that they were contributing to our community. ICE agents are showing up to their jobs. Why? They're only trying to provide for their families. So we must continue to stand together and uplift their stories and demand that these agencies and the people opening the doors to the ICE agents are held accountable, each and every single one of them. So as elections are coming up for New Jersey and we're taking a look at our candidates, let's keep in mind that we need to show up in the ballots. And unfortunately, it may not be looking too good with whatever our choices are, but we do need to remember that we still have a choice, and that choice is ours. So I'll let Ana Paola continue and speak a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Alrighty, I don't feel the energy. What do we do when immigrants are under attack?
Stand up, fight back!
You know it. What do we do when workers' rights are under attack?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do when families are under attack?
Stand up, fight back!
That's right. And today you're standing here. I want to thank you all for coming out in this hot weather. During your day, perhaps you escaped from your lunch break at work, or perhaps you're here because you have dignity and you have pride, and we know that we're all human beings. So as a coalition of organizations representing the immigrants in our community here in New Jersey, 2.2 million immigrants that we serve in New Jersey, we are proud that we are fighting against ICE, and we're saying, ICE out of New Jersey! 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 And I don't need to tell you a little bit more about our rapid response team or the rapid response that all of these organizations do, because you know it. We want the media to hear and know the stories of individual families. This morning, and she might be here already, we have a family that her husband is detained in Elizabeth Detention Center and is not getting the proper medication that he needs just because he was detained. Boo! Shame, right? So it is vital for us to keep this energy. It is vital for us to be proud and loud. It is vital for us to continue to pass policies that protect immigrant communities, like the Immigrant Trust Act. Woo! Locally in Princeton, we're passing a resolution, Cross your fingers. But I know you can do it in many other cities. We have 200 plus cities that can do the same. So here we are able to put our power. Our power might not be in resources and funding, but our power is in numbers. Our power is in people power. So please give yourself a chance to go out and talk to your political legislators in your cities, in your counties, in the state level, but most of all, say that we do not want to fund ICE, we will not be funding war, and we will not be funding anything that discriminates human beings. Thank you very much.
When I say abolish, you say ICE. Abolish. 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 Abolish.
So we did reach out to tons of elected officials to invite them here, at least 9 mayors. Our mayor, Mayor Elsie, is actually meeting in a little while with a group of us to work on what do we do when ICE comes into Highland Park and they don't have warrants? Can we call our police to ask them to come and to have a conversation about folks who don't have warrants showing up in our town? So we're having that conversation. She couldn't make this meeting, but she extends her care and concern and is taking steps with us on lots of fronts. One politician who did respond, I spoke to him yesterday, was Congressman Frank Pallone, who expressed real concern, and he sent Matt here from his office. Matt, I'm sorry I don't have your last name down, but please come forward and read the statement they have from Congressman Pallone. Thank you.
Just had it up and then I lost it. Give me 1 second.
Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente. Se ve, se siente, el pueblo está presente.
Thank you. My name is Matt Monticchio. I'm the district director for Congressman Pallone. As the pastor said, the congressman is in Washington voting, and so he asked me to come here and read a short statement for you. President Trump keeps suggesting that he is only arresting or deporting hardened criminals or gangsters.
Liar!
What we witnessed in Edison last week proves the contrary. The warehouse workers at Alba Wine and Spirits were not felons or members of a gang. They were just trying to do their jobs when armed agents stormed in, rounding up our neighbors without warning, without cause, just to make a political point. ICE should not be descending on workplaces just to fulfill a quota system. The next thing we will see them at local schools or hospitals. Their actions are arbitrary and causing disruption of families and communities. This excessive show of force is meant to terrify immigrant communities and undermine due process. Many of those detained have lived here for years, pay taxes, and contribute to our economy. And now, because of the one ugly bill Republicans just passed, Trump is getting billions more to turbocharge his deportation machine. All the while gutting health care and food assistance for millions of Americans. I don't believe that Americans want everyone who is here undocumented in the U.S. arrested and deported. Our immigration system is broken and needs to be replaced by one that treats people humanely and includes a pathway to citizenship if you work, pay taxes, and don't commit a crime. Thank you.
Se puede,
Sí se puede.
se puede, sí se puede, se puede, sí se puede.
All right, let's all together say, free them all. Free them all.
Freedom all!
Free them all.
Freedom all!
Free them all.
Freedom all!
Okay, so now I'm going to call my sister and comrade, Charlene Walker from Faith in New Jersey. A round of applause for her.
Eso, Charlie!
Hello, everyone. First, I want to start off by saying thank you to the Reformed Church of Highland Park, because this is what faith looks like. My name is Charlene Walker. I'm the Executive Director of Faith in New Jersey, which is a power-building vehicle for people of faith to show up in their faith and actually put it into action until all of us are free. I know that we are here because of what happened at the warehouse, all 25 of our beloveds that have been kidnapped. But can I be honest? Everyone wants to tell us right now on the news and everywhere else that we have an immigrant problem. No, we don't. The truth of the matter is, we have a white supremacy problem. We have a domestic terrorism problem. One that is co-signed by this radical government that has decided that some of us don't matter. The truth of the matter is that they want to say that we have an immigrant problem when this country purposely created a shadow workforce of undocumented people because they wanted to give corporations and wealthy breaks. So they could steal over $96 billion on the federal level to prop up our social safety net. But the truth of the matter is, right now, that social safety net is crumbling. They have decided that the farce is over. They have decided that they don't need undocumented people and their wealth in that way anymore. They can make more money off of their bodies. They have decided that it is more worthwhile to put people in cages, to collect money for every single day a person lays in a bed. And that is a mother, a sister, a father that lays in a bed where they charge every single day. Just yesterday, they made a claim that they're not going to give bonds to people. Why? So they can make more money, of course. They are making money hand over hand, fist over fist. But the reality is that they don't have to do this because we don't have to let it occur. We, as people of faith, people of good conscience, are called in this time and in this moment to rise up because the only thing that they want is wealth, and I say let's take it from them. We don't have to cooperate. What does it look like, beloved, if all of us, each and every one of us, even you lovely people that work with the news, decide not to go to work one day? And that one day starts to 2 days, and 3 days, and 4 days, and 5, and over again. Do you not think this capitalist structure will tumble? That it would bow down to us that they are dependent upon? The truth of the matter is they want to dehumanize us. They want to get us to believe that the 99% have no power. But the truth of the matter is we have all the power. And it's time in this moment where our beloveds are being kidnapped that we wake up. It is time that each and every legislator that thinks that it is so cushy and safe to sit in their office and say they don't have anything to do or say, to decide that they actually have to do the job that they were tasked to do. And if they do not, beloveds, it is up to us to rise up and to take those positions. It's up to us. So as we think about all of our beloveds that are sitting in cells, that are scared possibly right now that someone might come to us, it is our job to call on Governor Murphy, who has been silent. He has been as quiet as a church mouse, acting as though he has no say and there is nothing that he can do. It is a lie. If somebody shows up at my house and I don't know who they are, I should be able to call someone and say, hey, who's this person outside with a gun and a mask that's trying to take me with no authorization? It is on my government to say, no, they cannot. And when the federal government won't do their job, our local better damn well do it. I am sick and tired of these legislators saying that there is no political will to do things. Right now, we have a piece of legislation that is sitting that will protect so many of us. Yet, they tell us it doesn't need to move because they're scared they won't win elections. They are scared they won't win elections. Well, guess what? You won't win an election if you don't pass it. It is time that they actually act in the best interest of all of God's beloved. And it is time that we flip this system and make it work for us. Make it work for God's people. Because if this is just the beginning, right now they are going after those that they claim are undocumented, those that they claim are unworthy. It is just the gateway to go for every single person that is sitting on this lawn right now. Because we are all connected, beloved. So right now, I just want to remind all of those that are sitting and collecting those big, beautiful paychecks that from all of their funders and benefactors, that 99% is a lot more than you. And this 99% is coming because you will not kidnap not one more person. Amen.
All right. I'm going to say abolish, and you guys say ICE. Abolish. ICE. Abolish. ICE. Abolish. ICE. Abolish. ICE. Abolish. ICE. That's right. Let's abolish it together. Like our comrade here said, together we can do a lot more. So let's not be silenced. Now we're going to call on Heidi Torres from Movimiento Cosecha to share a little bit about what's going on inside the detention centers, the inhumane conditions and the abuse that goes on.
Vamos, Heidi!
¡Se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo
Unido jamás será vencido. Eso, Reinalda. Un shout out para los compas de New Labor, de Resistencia, los compañeros de Highland Park. Quiero leer rapidito. I'm going to read a short testimony from one of the families affected by the raid in Edison. Just give me a second. This is a message from Guadalupe's son. ICE unjustly arrested my dad, Guadalupe, at a workplace raid in Edison, New Jersey. He was trying to provide for his family in Mexico. It was hard for him to do that and to keep the family safe. He came to this country with the hope of giving his wife and kids a better and safer life. He was arrested. He was harassed at his job here and told that he would be fired if he didn't stay late. But he never complained. He always kept a smile for us. My dad is a good and hardworking man. Every Sunday, he wakes up early to go to church. He's the only person who opens the door and sets up everything. And he stays too close to church at the end. He's loved by his community and his family. On Tuesday, July 8th, he went to work as usual. That was the worst day of our lives because ICE came to his job. They were looking for someone else and knew my dad wasn't the person they were looking for, but they still took him. He doesn't deserve to be in detention and hasn't done anything wrong. Please help me get my dad. Thank you. Free Guadalupe!
Free Guadalupe!
Free Hector!
Free Hector!
Free Giovanni!
Free Giovanni!
Free René!
Free René!
Free them all!
Free them all!
Libertad para nuestra gente!
Libertad para nuestra gente!
Este fin de semana acompañamos a algunas de las familias que fueron afectadas por la redada a visitar seres queridos at Delaney Hall. This weekend, we hope some of the families visit their loved ones after the raid at Delaney Hall. Visitation hours for Unit 4 at Delaney Hall is at 8:15 p.m. We told the families to arrive at 5 p.m. You have to be 3 hours earlier to visit someone because GEO Group only allows 17 families to go in at once. 17 families. There were so many families turned away because they don't know the unit that they have, where the loved one is, and the guards will not tell you. They will turn you away even if you drive hours from Massachusetts, Georgia, from South Jersey, and say that you don't have the proper attire to go inside, or you don't have the ID. And thankfully, we have so many volunteers from different organizations and collectives that bring clothes, water, and snacks for the families. Imagine in this heat, being 3 hours earlier to visit your loved one. They cut visitation hours to only the weekends.
When the families went inside, I was so happy. Pastor Robin from Summit was there with us. We led a prayer for some of the families because we were very nervous to go inside to see their loved one detained. There were kids there. Imagine that you drive hours to be told that you cannot see your loved ones. And it's beautiful to see the solidarity of all the families visiting. They share resources with each other, lawyer information. They come to us and ask, how does bond work? How do I put money on his phone line? How do I buy him food inside? It is heartbreaking to see that happen to our neighbors, to our families, to the workers that sustain the economy of the state, of our communities. And once the families were outside, they said to me, when I touched my dad, he was cold because of the freezing temperatures inside detention. And you know this. How many of you have read and saw the news about all the conditions at these concentration camps? Because that's what they are. That's what they are. There's no medical treatment, and this is not new. This happened under any administration, Republican or Democrats, they're all the same. They see undocumented labor as cheap labor. They exploit our families. It is convenient to them. And this will not stop after Trump it's out or the next president comes. This will continue because this is mass incarceration. They make money out of it. They profit out of our pain and suffering. How much longer? ¿Cuánto tiempo más? No va a terminar después de que salga esa administración. Siempre ha sido así. Y ahora la gente, ahora quieren eliminar la fianza. You know what the GEO group staff told me? Don't worry, people come here and they are out in a week. Lies! That's what they tell all these workers that work for ICE, the ICE agents, the brown and Latino and the black ICE agents. Shame on you. Shame on you. You are terrorizing your people because all of us are immigrants. Our ancestors were brought here to this country. Our families leave our countries back home because of what the U.S. does to our countries. These borders are imaginary, but our people are not. See the photos out there. 25 people from our community are missing. 25 trabajadores, están padres, abuelos, sobrinos, las tías, las madres, no están aquí en nuestra comunidad. No hay quien abra la iglesia. No one opened the door. Guadalupe didn't open the church this weekend. Hector was not there with his family, having dinner with them. So I want all of us to fight because when the race happens and people are detained, there are not many options for them to get out. So we need a movement. We need elected officials. I want to see you outside with the families. I want you to call ICE agents. I want you to go to the DHS. I want you to go to Newark office and fight with these ICE agents to let our people out. That's what I want. Because when I see these men, they are my dad. There's someone who's inside who's 64 years old. That's my dad's age. My dad's. And I have the same fear and I share the same pain of not seeing my family again. So I will fight. Yo voy a luchar. ¿Saben por qué? Porque todos los que están ahí también son mis papás. También son mis tíos. Son parte de mi comunidad. And with all these ICE agents and people who work at the DHS and elected officials and everybody who keep supporting ICE because they think that they're locking up criminals, they're lying to you. But I cannot teach you empathy. I cannot teach you empathy. I cannot teach you to care. It doesn't matter how many words, how many stories I tell you, you will never understand what it's like for us to be dehumanized. You will never understand to see our pain and our suffering. You will never get that. So when I hear the GEO staff say to me, don't worry, people, this is not a jail. This is not a jail. And you know what one of the families said to the GEO group staff? They said, you can come out, but my family member can. They can, and the conditions are horrible. So quit your jobs. That's what we tell them, quit your jobs. And again, to all the ICE agents, the brown and Latino that I see outside Delaney Hall and Elizabeth, shame on you. Shame on you. Qué vergüenza que se han olvidado de las raíces latinas, de nuestros ancestros. Los padres los han traído acá y se han olvidado de todo. Así que les invito a que luchemos. Because the conditions at Delaney are similar at Eloy, in Texas. And the fear that many the families have is that their loved ones will be transferred out of Delaney, out of New Jersey. And they will be lost in the system. In Texas, in Louisiana, imagine over there. How can someone go visit and provide legal support? Families are struggling to pay for a lawyer. And when lawyers talk to us, they say the same thing. There's no case, Heidi. You know how hard that is to hear? There's no case. There's no options but voluntary departure or deportation. It is heartbreaking. All of us are grieving. All of us are grieving every day for the people that are missing in our communities. And I'm just going to say this last thing. It takes a movement. It takes a movement to fight against ICE, against these walls, against the imperialism of the U.S. in our countries. So just like Charlene said to all of us, fight. Como usted pueda, aunque no tenga papeles, pero haga llamadas. Organice la comunidad, hable con los trabajadores. No sea indiferente, porque la empatía se tiene que aprender y practicar. No importa cuántos testimonios yo diga, no importa cuántas historias yo cuente. No nos olvidemos de la empatía, porque eso no se nos va a quitar. Nadie nos puede robar la empatía. Empathy. And that's something that some of the families said to us. There was no empathy when the managers at Alba Wines and Spirit didn't even provide letters for the families, didn't even check on them. You know who returned the belongings of those that were taken? All the workers did. All the workers did. They brought their lunch bags to them. Shame on Alba Wines and Spirit, and shame on all the managers and all the bosses at this warehouse. And you will see us come back with more workers and more families to protect one another. Muchas gracias y seguimos en la lucha. ¿Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
¿Se puede?
¡Sí se puede!
All right, we're almost done. We got 2 more speakers. Right. All right, so, but before I go on, let us not forget, and I'm going to say this twice, let us not forget, we are one working class, many roots. Together we rise. Together we move. All right? Now I'm going to call on Dan Malagnik. Please, where's Dan? I want to ask for a round of applause for Dan. He's going to give us a statement.
I'm just speaking as a concerned citizen, and I just want to say that you are teaching empathy, that I was very, very moved, and that I need to hear more and more stories, as painful as it is, for people to share those stories and to share your perspective. It's important for me, and so thank you. So my name is Dan Malednik. I'm speaking today as a concerned resident of the community. Today I'm reminded by the words of Dr. King that in the end we will remember not the words of our enemies but the silence of our friends. And that's a message that we've heard throughout the day from all the prior speakers. As Pastor Seth and previous speakers said, we've witnessed violence and grave injustice, and we cannot be silent. The people who've been targeted and are being inhumanely detained are our friends. These are hardworking, good people who contribute to our community. They're good parents who came here to make a better life for their children. The word that has come to mind for me throughout this whole trauma is sickening. I'm sickened. I'm sickened to think that the children of these good people have had their parents ripped away from them. This does nothing to make our country any better. It just terrorizes and traumatizes good families, and it kills the American dream for many people who have worked so hard for decades to make our country and our community a better place. I'm just calling on all of us, along with the prior speakers, to say that we all need to stand up and speak out. We need elected officials, employers, and other leaders to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. And lastly, I'm going to call on Jorge Torres for Endelon. He's going to share with us some words. I want to ask for a round of applause for Jorge.
When I say ice, you say out of New Jersey. Ice? Out of New Jersey. Ice? Out of New Jersey. Ice? Out of New Jersey. Every single morning, I wake up and I see my phone and I see someone that is being kidnapped across the country. I work with the National Day Labor Organizing Network as the organizing director, and we have not seen one day since January that we have not find out that someone has been arrested outside of Home Depots, outside of 7-Elevens, and day labor corners, and work sites. We haven't not seen one person that has not been kidnapped by these agents. And sometimes we shouldn't even call them agents because they are masked with raffles, so we don't even know who they are. The answer to that is that el pueblo salva el pueblo. The people save the people. And by you being here, we're showing up from New Jersey, from Highland Park, that has been fighting, from this church that has put the faith in action, that has fight for so many years against detention centers, against criminalization of workers. We're showing that we don't want ICE in our communities, and they are not welcome here. Are they? No. Are they? No. So I'm calling to say to all of you, if they don't respect our rights, they should not accept our fruit of our labor. If they don't respect our rights, they shouldn't accept the fruit of our labor. We are here to tell ICE that they are not welcome here. We're gonna keep fighting from every single corner that you can fight. If you can do a share in social media, if you can do a posting, if you can make a donation, if you can show up for a family, if you can go to a day labor corner or anywhere and get someone to talk to and organize, anything will help in this moment. Fascism, white supremacy is against us. This is not about white, blacks, or brown anymore. This is about the white supremacy against us. So the calling is that we want ICE out of our barrios, out of our towns, out of our cities. We're going to keep fighting again until ICE is out of Texas, ICE out of New Jersey, ICE out of New York, and ICE all over. So we don't want ICE. And when I said abolish, you say ICE. Abolish? ICE. Abolish? ICE. Muchas gracias a todas las familias y vamos a seguir trabajando fuerte para seguir haciendo justicia. Thank you to all the families that have the courage, and we will keep working until all the families are free. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we're going to end now this press conference. We want to thank everyone that came out today, and also if you, reporters, go ahead.
Can we ask questions now?
Yeah, sure, you want
We just have a question for Amanda really quickly.
Amanda, where are you, Amanda?
Come on up.
All right, yeah, if you have questions, this is a good time to ask.
Yes. Amanda, will you tell us who we're looking at in these photos here?
Oh, I don't know every single person individually, but I can tell you that these are workers who were detained in the Alba Wine Warehouse.
We know that. We're just
and their
trying to
families.
Yeah.
But I don't know every single.
Okay. You were there last Friday?
I was there last Friday.
Okay, can you
Me
tell
and
us-
Pastor Seth.
Okay.
And many others, but yes, we were there.
We're just trying to be a little judicious because our photographers have been standing outside for now. But
We're not going to tell you in front of everybody's name and stuff. We can tell you that one of these families has been here 27 years,
Yes.
and they lived in this town, and their kids are the same age as my kids, and that one of the speakers here taught some of those folks in their classes here in this town, and that person's now gone from the family. We know another person is a partner. You want me at a microphone or what?
Yes.
thank you, Pastor.
Yeah. One of the families pictured here has been here 27 years. They've lived in this town for 16 years. They've worked at Alba Warehouse for 12 years. They've got 6 children. They're the main breadwinner. They're a wonderful part of this community. Somebody else here is a partner to someone else who was working at the warehouse. The partner was taken. The other person is still employed, but now wondering, how do I even go on in a situation like this? I don't know all the other people that are in the pictures, but those are the ones I know.
Steph or Amanda? And I know Steph, Amanda was there last week. Amanda, if you step up.
Yes.
When they were addressed, and we were speaking to people last week,
Yes.
families who came with identification, they tried to get it to them. What kind of IDs did they have on them? What kind of paperwork did they have that was refuted by the ICE agents when they met with them?
When people were walking up to
Can you repeat the question? We couldn't hear the question.
What kind of paperwork did ICE agents
We'll
request?
repeat it. We'll repeat it.
Yeah.
Do it in the mic.
What kind of paperwork were families bringing up to ICE agents, to Customs and Border Patrol to try to prove that people had status in this country? People were bringing entire packets. If you've done any work with immigration before, you know they want everything and anything that you can produce. People came with big envelopes of just like birth certificates, of work permits, of copies of identification. But honestly, the way ICE was standing there trying to barricade us, not letting us through, they were not interested in what the truth was for anything like that. They were not letting families through. They were not looking at the paperwork. They were working based off of racism and hate, and they were ignoring anything that was produced to them at that moment in time.
I will add that in addition, there was an attorney there who showed up with a packet and was waving to the person that she wanted to meet with as he was getting in a van, and they wouldn't let that attorney to that individual either.
Reverend, you were FaceTiming live. Talk
Yeah.
to us about the passion. It was very passionate that we heard you talking through what was happening.
Well, I mean, all I can say is that if you're in a situation of violence and you feel like you're present for a trauma, and what you can tell is that there's just nobody there, and the government is abusing people, and all you have is a camera that's live, you do what you can. And that's what I could do in that moment. Was there was a handful of us around, and something horrible was happening. The least I could do was try to get the word out and speak about not just the facts, but also how I was feeling, which are also facts.
There was also one more comment. You're Carlos, right? You said that some people ran. Was that? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so from the information and the conversation we had with families that were detained, family members, they told us that 2 people managed to ran out and not being able to separate it from their family members. Yes, 2 people.
And have you met with all 25 of these?
Not all
detainees?
25. We have met with about, from the 25, about 10 people. 13 people, I'm sorry.
Other orgs that met.
And also want to emphasize, other orgs are also doing the work, so they might have met with other families that we haven't met yet. Go ahead.
You've mentioned, or other speakers have mentioned that Governor Murphy hasn't come out and made a comment. What would you like to see from the state besides the legislation that's currently stalling, the Immigrant Trust Act? What would it mean to have a, Governor
Heart
Murphy
and
stand up?
spine is what we want from Governor Murphy. Heart, Murphy. I said Mercy, but Mercy would be good too. Governor Murphy, we want heart and we want spine. So there was a response made that NJ Spotlight News picked up, which basically said, we don't do anything to get in the way of Donald Trump doing whatever he wants to do. That was the full extent. No word like, we're horrified that the residents of New Jersey had their families broken up. We're horrified that workplaces have become places of assault and abuse by white masked men. Not one word of heart was there. And the spine is not there at all. And that's not just about him, but that's about the entire political infrastructure in the state that is spineless.
Say it.
You want to add something?
Go ahead. No.
A few of us, I think, were here a couple of years ago when you had some undocumented people seeking sanctuary in this church, the pastor. How different is it this time compared to Trump's first administration?
So yes, the question was about this church has offered sanctuary on 2 different occasions, once for 11 months and once for 3 months during different moments. One under the great terror of a president named Barack Obama, I would add. This is not just a one-party thing. And the other was under the great terror of the first Donald Trump. So we've needed to offer sanctuary under different types of administrations. This time around, I must say that our church hesitated in terms of offering physical sanctuary, frankly because of January 6th. And we're less afraid of the government than we are of hooligans and folks who are going to turn places into standoff locations of so-called left versus right or whatever, and we would bring danger to people that we would want to protect. So we're not afraid of Donald Trump one bit or any of the folks in that administration. But, it's the rage of the sort of the loose cannons that we've seen all around this that made us more hesitant to offer the same kind of language. Sanctuary is going to have to become less about singular locations of a location being sanctuary and something that's more about full-blown efforts of safety. Sanctuary made sense in a world that had a little bit more rules and regulations and respect for things like the sanctity of churches, schools, and hospitals. We're past that. So sanctuary is going to have to be more creative now.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Any more questions? Yes.
Do you have any advice for us ordinary citizens as to what to do if we witness a raid or witness an abduction?
I mean, I think that the first thing to do is to get as many people there as you can. I mean, one thing that in general, when we've had calls to our rapid response team, they've been at individual houses or on a corner where ICE has pulled over a car, and getting 10 people there actually feels like a force. You're by numbers, you kind of are making a stand. But at a warehouse with 30 ICE vehicles and Homeland Security vehicles, 10 of us or so who are out there, it felt like nothing. If we had had a Los Angeles kind of show out at that event and had thousands of people show up in the parking lot, this would be a very different story right now. I think that the state government would have been forced to say something, forced to do something. So I want to say with Charlene that it's about the 99 being as big as we are. And so whenever you get a chance, the more you can blow it open, the better, to get the more of us as possible to become part of a shared congregation of resistance.
Yes. And I want to add, if you see ICE anywhere in your neighborhoods or you think you're seeing ICE, you could always report it to a hotline. I'm going to repeat the hotline twice. 1-888-347-3767. 888-347-3767. You can call anytime during the day, at night, whenever you see it. Let's help each other. Let's keep each other safe. Any other questions? Oh.
Can you say it again, please?
Sure, I'm going to say it slower now. 888-347-3767. Got it? Yeah. Dire SOS.
And I just wanted to add one more thing. Everyone has a space in this movement and in this work. If you feel that you cannot be part of the movement to show up immediately as far as the rapid response, we still need good people who can do some research. Maybe you have some legal knowledge. Maybe you have some knowledge around workplaces. Maybe you have some extra funds you can donate. Maybe you have time to go with families to these detention centers. Maybe you can just sit with folks and show solidarity. Maybe you can write articles, op-eds. Maybe you can share positive stories or these stories that people know what's happening in these detention centers. Everyone has a lane and a space in this movement, so don't think that just because maybe you can't show up in a rapid response kind of way that there's no space in this for you. There definitely is. So please feel free to reach out to any of these organizations that are here today and find your space, because we are more than happy to have you in this work. So thank you.
All right, if there's no more questions, we're just going to close it up right here. But before we go, we have a song we want to sing together to make sure that we all together in this fight. I just want to finish with these words, and I hope the news outlets write it or really show it. Colonization doesn't just occupy land, it occupies minds. You can never deport dignity. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, everybody. All stand in solidarity with our immigrant neighbors? You all stand in solidarity with our immigrant neighbors? Okay, now let me ask you something else. Are you able to sing? If you stand in solidarity and you're able to sing, that makes you a solidarity singer. So now we are all going to be a great big chorus. We're going to sing This Little Light, because each one of us, as our sister has just said, each one of us has an opportunity to make things better. Each one of us has an opportunity to let a light of freedom and of love and of compassion and of concern shine in a dark time, in a dark place. So let's go home and make sure we do that.
Yeah.
This little light, this little light of mine. Come on, sing. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. All over Highland Park. All over Highland shine. All over Highland Park, I'm gonna let it shine. All over Highland Park, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine. Let me say it, I'm gonna let it shine. Come on! This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Whenever ice shows up, whenever ice shows up, we're gonna let it shine. Whenever ice shows up, I'm gonna let it shine.
Whenever ice shows up, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine. This little light, come on now. This little light of mine, let me see you shine it. I'm gonna let it shine, that's better. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Shine the light of freedom. Shine the light of freedom. We're gonna let it shine. Shine the light of freedom. We're gonna let it shine. Shine the light of freedom. We're gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Right.
Thank you.
The sanctuary here is air conditioned for anybody who's looking to do one-on-one interviews or any of that kind of stuff. You can come in here or you can meet with people out here. Thanks everyone for being here.
We have some water over here for everybody.
Ice, yeah, there's water.